Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture of literature. I am Adrian Fort, and we are here for the first in what I think is going to be a new playlist here on the channel. I'm going to spend some time with the opening paragraph to Bret Easton Ellis's American Psycho, because I think that opening paragraphs are very crucial to literature in general, very, very crucial if you consider yourself a writer, and very, very, very crucial if you are looking to squeeze something extra out of a text, because an opening paragraph oftentimes gives you great deals of knowledge about where you're going to go and where the author thinks the author has taken you by the end of the novel. One of the great quotes that I have ever heard about writing comes from Neil Gaiman, where he says, "A second draft is to make it look like you knew what you were doing all along." And the best place to make it look like you knew what you were doing all along is in the opening paragraph. So here we have the opening paragraph from American Psycho, which reads as such. Oh, lighting sucks. I'm sorry about that. It's the glare from my glasses, I think, that does it. "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here," is scrawled in blood-red lettering on the side of the chemical bank near the corner of 11th and 1st, and is in print large enough to be seen from the back seat of the cab as it lurches forward in the traffic, leaving Wall Street. And just as Timothy Price notices the words as a bus pulls up, the advertisement for Les Miserables on its side blocking his view. But Price, who was with Pearson Pierce and 26, doesn't seem to care, because he tells the driver he will give him $5 to turn up the radio, "Be My Baby," on WYNN. And the driver, black, not American, does so. Read it one more time, just so we get it. "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here," is scrawled in blood-red lettering on the side of the chemical bank near the corner of 11th and 1st, and is in print large enough to be seen from the back seat of the cab as it lurches forward in the traffic, leaving Wall Street. Just as Timothy Price notices the words, a bus pulls up, the advertisement for Les Miserables on its side blocking his view. But Price, who was with Pearson Pierce and 26, does not seem to care, because he tells the driver he will give him $5 to turn up the radio, "Be My Baby," on WYNN. And the driver, black, not American, does so. So what are we doing here? What is going on here in this paragraph? The first place I want to start is this weird little broken part of a sentence that we might not notice, simply because there is so much going on. This part where we have "abandon all hope, ye who enter here," the very first portion of a sentence. We go from that into description, we go from "abandon all hope, ye who enter here." I've lost myself. Give me 1 second. We go from there to a bus pulling up with an advertisement for Les Miserables on the side, but Timothy Price doesn't seem to notice. Doesn't seem to notice that he's supposed to abandon all hope. Doesn't seem to notice he's supposed to abandon all hope, because he's still telling the taxi driver, turn up "Be My Baby" on the radio. What is "Be My Baby"? Nothing special. It's just a poppy song known basically as one of the most successful poppy songs of all time. It has been done and redone and redone, and that is one of my points. "Be My Baby," what song are we talking about? Are we talking about the 1974 rendition by the Bay City Rollers, 1976 Sean Cassidy, 1970 Cissy Houston, 1973 Sven and Lotta, 1964 the Ronettes, 1972 Jody Miller? It is ambiguous. It's on WYNN, so we've got some idea possibly of which artist it might be, but it is left ultimately ambiguous. Ambiguity is a big deal in this novel. There is right on the next page, Timothy Price is yelling at the driver to turn up the radio, and the driver says, or no, we get, turn up the radio. It don't go up no higher. Maybe the driver says. It don't go up no higher, parentheses, end quote. Maybe the driver says. Maybe it's the driver who says it. We don't really know. There is a lot of ambiguity going on in this novel. A lot of little things that we don't know where we are and if it really happens or not. That's one of the keys to this novel, especially going forward if we know how this novel ends. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. That is from Dante's Inferno. Basically, it's posted, like the 95 Theses, on the front door to hell. That's funny, because it's also posted right at the beginning of this novel. Abandon all hope, ye who enter this book. You're about to go through hell. So we have that little literary reference. We have the literary reference of Les Mis. Les Mis is not really a very good time. Now, is it? Not really a very good time. The dispossessed, the miserable. Let's talk a little bit about the numbers involved. We'll start with some of the tertiary ones. Obviously, the 5. 5 is the symbol of man in the Bible. Man is 5. The devil is 6, and God is 7. So when we're talking to the driver and we say, I'll give you a 5 if you turn this up, what we're saying, I will remind you that you are just a person. You are beneath me if you turn this up. As we are looking at Dante and his escort through hell, possibly, when we're looking at Patrick Bateman and Timothy Price. Is that what we're doing there? Either way, we will get into a little bit later why it is simply reminding the driver that you're just a person, you're beneath me, right? Because we're dealing with a couple other numbers here. Timothy Price is 26. 26 in numerology is connected to wealth and prosperity. Timothy Price, 26. There's no reason to tell us that Timothy Price is 26. No reason at all to tell us that Timothy Price is 26, except to get that number out there. One of the things that is interesting with numbers in text is that you always have to pay attention to them because there is either, well, in the hands of certain authors, depends on who you're reading. A number in a text is either prompting you to look into something, prompting you to understand what that number means, or it's daring you to pretend that you know what that number means because it doesn't mean that in this text. So the next set of numbers we have is the first set of numbers we have appearing. Chemical Bank near the corner of 11th and 1st. Numerology, symbology, wherever you're looking. Number 1 is often in reference to ego or the sun. The sun being truth, being knowledge, the ego being those things which keep you from it. So there is a dichotomy right there in that number, but it is often the number 1 connected to power and a driven individual, as well as someone being selfish, being powerful and selfish, being power hungry, driven, and selfish. Those are both things that pop up through this novel, basically with every character that could be considered a main character, or every character that could be considered, if this were a script, a named character. Anyone in this novel with any name that we are prompted to know is powerful, that top 1% for sure, but also driven and also selfish. None more so than Patrick Bateman. One is often associated with being forceful and being risky. You got one chance. One being a divine origin of the universe. So the corner of 1st and 11th and 1st. 11 is a master number. A master number is known for power and energy. A very potent number is the number 11. And if we're looking at things from a religious sense, after Judas left, the 12 disciples were referred to as the 11. So when you say the 11, it is acknowledging absence, the absence of the traitor. Now, for 11th and 1st, you have 111. 111 is, in numerology, known for a spiritual awakening or a new beginning. Here we have this novel entering hell as a spiritual awakening. The new beginning of our life in hell. A little bit further, when we have 111, you can look at this. I'll start with Revelations. In Revelation, because I think with Revelations, we get a better chance to look at what the mirror is, as opposed to, let me just start. Revelations 1:11, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. I am the powerful. I am the beginning. I am the end. I am the all-powerful. I give you meaning, and I take away everything. So that is what we have when we have this psychopath running around being the Alpha and the Omega. I will make you live, but I will be your end. I will be the Alpha and the Omega. We get that feeling from Patrick Bateman very often in this text. Someone who would refer to themselves as the Alpha and the Omega. Off the top of my head, I don't remember if that happens in this novel, but it would not surprise me if in one of his euphoric, power-hungry, devastating, murderous rampages, he claims to be the Alpha and the Omega. So, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. I am the which makes everything go. Genesis 1:11. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit yielding tree, fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself. That's the circle of life. Seed planted, grows a fruit, drops the seed, which becomes a tree, which, right? So that is the Alpha and the Omega tying back in Revelation. Tying back to Genesis from Revelation. So it is Revelations 1:11 looks back at Genesis 1:11 and says, yeah, Alpha and Omega, this is the system. It's all me, baby. It's all me. Don't worry about it. I want to look a little bit at the word choice. We have a few very powerful words here that pop up in this very first paragraph. Very powerful words because they are not your run-of-the-mill words. Blood, lurches, and pierce. These are all very disconcerting words. The blood red lettering on the side of the chemical bank. Blood should always perk your interest. Blood is the life force. Blood is... I think that men and women have a very different connection to blood, because if women see blood periodically, it means something is going right, whereas if men see blood all that often, it means something's very wrong, right? This being written from a male perspective, I think that whenever you are invoking the image of blood, it means something very wrong. Lurches, I defy you to name one nice, kind, or pleasant use of the word lurch in the history of the English language. I defy you. If it's there, it's there, and I don't know it. But lurches is often an unkind word. It doesn't happen nicely. Things that lurch don't do so kindly. And pierce, the cab was lurching forward. I don't remember if I went back and did that, but Price, who is with Pierce and Pierce being stabbed, right? There is you could have picked any word or imaginary word in the English language to be for a law firm as opposed to the last names Pierce and Pierce, but you did it, stabbed twice. So those are strong word choices here to pop up in the very first paragraph of a novel. Another reference here, the chemical bank. Why do you have to have a chemical bank? It just happens to be a chemical bank? No, it's because chemicals are unnatural. It's because chemicals, you don't think of chemicals in a kind way. What this is doing is it is taking you out of the natural world. You are stuck in traffic, man-made. You are looking at a chemical bank, man-made. You're leaving Wall Street, man-made. Bus, man-made. You are all out of nature. Also, what we're looking at here with that last little bit, you have condescension from our narrator, Patrick Bateman. The driver, black, not American, does so. That's judgment. That is judgment being cast from the place of our narrator, and it tells you a couple things. It tells you that our narrator is American. It tells you that our narrator is not black. If our narrator and or Timothy Price were black, you would not need to denote the fact that the one black person in the car is the one that works for you. That would not be what was being referenced there. It is there a point of difference. It also tells us, or I guess Pierce & Pierce is not a law firm, it's an investment firm, right? Because, hey, I've read the novel, right? These are stock guys. But it also, here we have the fact that we're leaving Wall Street. It is important to put that little line in there. We know not where we're going, but we know from whence we come. We don't know where we're going. Remember, 111, a spiritual awakening, we are not told here where we're going. But we know here where we're coming from. We're coming from the money place. We're coming from Wall Street. We're coming from the 1%. We're coming from man-made wealth. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on right in this very first paragraph, and there's a lot of confusion. There is ambiguity and confusion. Ambiguity, Be My Baby, what rendition of this song are we getting? But there's also confusion in all of the different things going on. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here, but it's Les Mis that comes across on the bus. You have the all the colors, all the sounds going on. You don't have any actual sounds listed, but you have a little bit of dialogue, which is all in box, right? We don't have the actual quote. We have Price tells him to turn the radio up, but we don't get the quote. It's just told to us that Price has said this. We have all sorts of things going on here that do not necessarily go with one another. We have the artistic references. We have the colors. We have stuck in traffic. We have the names Pierce and Pierce. Who are Pierce and Pierce? We have WYNN. We don't necessarily know what that is as the reader. So that is all the stuff that is set up here in the very first paragraph of American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis.